Hey everyone, my name is Essy and you're welcome to the Essence with Essy show, where we talk about who you are, what your story is, and what makes you special. Today I have someone really amazing and special here with me today. Just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Josiah Hyacinth, also known as Mr200m, from the UK.
From the UK?
Came to make this happen.
So do you want to tell us how you got the name Mr200m?
Yes, so I was in an Olympic cycle. Okay. So I was in a 4-year Olympic cycle. I'm a sprinter. So I was doing 100 and 200 meters. Yeah, so I was a sprinter and I was in an Olympic cycle one time, and the training was so difficult, and I was like, I had to really like project all my energy into like this dream that I thought I saw. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change my name to Mr200 so that one day when I cross the line in the Olympics, it all makes sense. So I was trying to create like a narrative for myself. So that's where it started from. And
you just like you named yourself down on everything that you have?
Yeah, like everything. Like literally, I just one day was like, you know, like if you really believe something's gonna happen, you go put it down on paper, and like believe in it and look at it every day. So like the name just stuck, and I just wanted to just continue to like project that energy that I wanted into the world, and to kind of like take control of what I wanted to be known as, and for my mind to passively always see myself as this champion. That's what Mr200 means.
Yeah, that's great. That's really interesting. I really like that. In 10 seconds, I just want you to tell me like your top 10 songs you're listening to right now. Okay? You just go. Don't think. Just go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Odile, 2448. What Mr. Workerman, Odile, Wizkid. All the Wizkid songs, that's 10.
All the Wizkid songs. That's cheating. You guys say all of Wizkid songs.
That's all I'm listening to.
Oh my days. Oh my goodness.
I don't even know music. I don't know names. I just be playing music.
You just play music?
You know my brain, I have a slow brain, so it's just like, to do 10 seconds is not enough time for
It's not enough time, but you listen to songs every day, so you should kind of...
I don't actually listen to music every day.
How often do you listen to music?
When I'm in people's cars.
Really? You listen to music by yourself?
Not really.
When you're on the train, what do you listen to?
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere?
I listen to the sounds of the train tracks.
No way.
I don't listen to music a lot.
Before you go to bed, when you start your day?
I listen to the sounds.
When you're taking a walk?
I listen to the sounds of the environment.
Wow.
Because I'm always in meetings, or I'm always on calls, or whenever I like listen to music, it's like for editing or something. So I don't tend to like know what's happening in music. I vaguely know, but yeah. So I don't tend to like listen to a lot of music, but I know music.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of music though. Like I listen to music like
every 5 seconds. You give it that block your ears and don't.
Yeah,
like I love silence.
Yeah, that's good.
She just learned that I'm quiet.
I just learned that he's quiet. I didn't know that. I thought he was like. You know, it's like a low key.
I can be, yeah.
You have your, I guess, your moments.
Yeah.
What were you like growing up, and like, what was your favorite childhood memory?
I was like a really like, I think I'm similar to how I am now. I was like a really like, I loved people more than myself. Favorite childhood memory, I was just a kid, and I loved inventing things, and I loved like coming up with solutions. I loved playing in the mud. I was a kid that you'd leave for 5 seconds and just get really, really dirty. Do you know what I mean? I remember crying to God, like, I asked God for like 2 things. I was like, oh God, I want to go to London. I want to go to London. I want to go to London. I was crying in the room and just crying, my eyes out.
Where were you at this point?
I was in Nigeria.
Are you in Nigeria?
Yeah, Port Harcourt.
PH. Yeah, PH.
I don't know how to say with a British accent. Harcourt. But yeah, I was just in my room, and for some reason I just started praying, and I really was talking to God, like, God, like, I want to go to England, I want to go to London. I didn't even know where London was, I didn't even know what it was, so that was a prayer in my heart. And then the second thing was a game. I was praying to my God, like, oh God, like, I need this video game, I need this new game, you know those games, and you just be this girl, you know those games now.
Like on PSPs.
Not even the PSP, the one before.
Game Boy them.
Not before the Game Boy, that my cool thing, you know that one?
Oh my days.
It was like a square like this, and it had like like all you could do is like stack the things. But yeah, I just prayed to God, and there was this new one that came out, and I knew that my parents couldn't afford it, but I just kept praying anyways, and I cried, and my mom came and they saw me, and then they took me to go buy it, and then that was the first dream that came through, and then the next few years I was in London. So
wow.
That's like I always remember like a direct line from that prayer to what I now call life, and when I got that game, I actually gave it away.
Why did you give it away? I thought you prayed for it for so long.
Because I was that kid, you know. Like my problem as a child was that I would get things and I'd give it away because I would always find people who needed it more than me, and I'd let them have it.
So like when you go to school and you see someone that like needed something, would you give them like your stuff?
Give them everything.
Like what?
It was actually a problem.
It was a problem?
Yeah, like I would just give away my food, I'd give away my sweets, I'd give away anything. Like that's what I knew as a child because that's what I experienced. I experienced like parents who'd give everything to me, even though we didn't have. So like it didn't make sense not to do the same for people.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite toxic, but
it has like I guess pros and cons.
Yeah, it was. I think it was good as a child. Like it's good to be given because you grow old and you know you have to learn how to restrain. But
did you ever get in trouble for it?
For giving? Yeah, all the time with my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jojo, why did you give that away? But how can you be angry at a child who just showed what they saw?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like they really couldn't be angry at me too long. So it was always kind of like melancholic. They would laugh at me while telling me off, or we would laugh about it. And I'd go back to praying to God about something else I wouldn't get because I gave it away. So yeah.
Are you still like that now?
I think so. I think I have the nature. Of course, the world makes you lose your happiness sometimes when people take advantage, right? So you somehow have to fight that urge to like close up and keep stay open. So I think I'm similar. Just a bit wiser maybe.
Just a bit wiser.
Yeah, just a bit wiser.
Speaking about like then and now, what did you want to be when you were younger, and like what are you now? Like how does that contrast? Like for instance, when I was younger, I wanted to be a banker, and that like that doesn't align in my life right now. Like I'm something completely different. What did you want to be when you were younger?
I didn't ever really ever see myself wanting to be anything.
Yeah, you just like living, going to school. You didn't really think.
Yeah, like I was just saying, I enjoyed life. I don't ever think. I can't tell you that I wanted to be an astronaut or I wanted to be a firefighter. Like I didn't. I just knew I loved people. So that's the one thing I was sure of when I was a child. I can't tell you of like I don't remember a lot of my childhood either. So I can't tell you of anything that I felt like I was destined to be. Even now, I don't think I am okay in my life that I wouldn't have one career.
Yeah.
Like I've let go of the idea. Like I'll be whatever I need to be for the time. You know, the Bible says all things to all men. So I think throughout my life I'll be many things to all men.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think when I look at myself as a youngster, I just knew I wanted a good life. I knew I wanted to be able to love people and be able to give. That was the one thing I knew. When I look at myself now, I think I'm living that.
Yeah.
And I don't think there is one kind of like facet that live like that I can put a name towards to let that work flow. I think it's just whatever God gives me and how He gives it to me. And if I'm skillful in that manner, or I'm applicable, or I can get it, then I think that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Because I know like you do a lot of things. Like I know like you've done like YouTube, like you blog, you have your book club, take like pictures too. Like you do like a lot, right? So what would you say? Like, are you like just like a freelance content creator? Are you like a freelance like tech person? Like, what do you do?
Yes, I mean I have like so what do I do? So I mean I do a bunch of things. I think the umbrella of everything I do is storytelling. I love to tell stories, right? But obviously that the instrument of the story depends on the story you're trying to tell. So
exactly.
I think sometimes I tell the story through the art of photography, and I love photography, but I don't love it as much as some people. I think I'm good at it more than I love it. I think. Yeah.
So did you like just venture into photography like one day and just like started getting better at it?
Yeah, like I needed money, man. To tell the truth, like in uni, like I needed money. Like I had to pay rent, and I got ripped off in uni and all these different things. And I was an international student, and I didn't have any support. I went to uni by myself. I couldn't be supported by my family. I just needed money. There was just an opportunity.
Yeah,
I was looking at the money. I was thinking, people are not seeing that there's money here. Like
in photography.
Yeah, like there was, and specifically in where I was in Leicester, there's like 3 or 4 kind of different universities kind of in the vicinity, and then you have a bunch of students, a bunch of events, but nobody's taking images of the events.
Yeah.
It's just maths. I was like, cool. And then I remember taking pictures of these events, and the guys don't care if it's good images. They wanted more messy. Like the people used to get angry at me
for making it like fine.
Yeah, like I was doing nice pictures, and they were like, bro, it's too clean, man. You got to turn it like this. I was like, okay. So I spent the days And I loaned a camera from university, so it cost me nothing. I literally was making profit, right? So it was just an opportunity. So I was like, there was 7 to 10 events a week. So I would do all of them at a minimum of £100 for the whole event, which was a rip-off in theory of what I was doing. But if I could do that, I can make 700 to 1,000 a week.
That's really good, and that's like minus like other things that you're making money
Minus
from
other
too.
things I was potentially doing. So like I was just doing that. So I entered photography based on problem solution. I don't think I would never call myself a creative based on like I woke up one morning and artistically had a dream. It's like, no, I just solved problems and I solved them. Like I said, like the camera was a tool for the problem I wanted to solve at the time. And then now my life is the same thing. So my life is like I find the best tool to tell the story I want to tell. And that could be videography, that could be photography, that could be consulting, that could be working with a team full time in tech. So I do all those things at the same time. I have a brand. I work with tech and companies. I work with startups. I invest in people. I invest in property. I love to mentor people. I love the social side of stuff. So they're all stories I want to tell. I think we're in this beautiful meta narrative called story, and what I'm trying to do is like make my story really matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Tell me like three fun things about your personality that people don't know. Just like 3 random facts about your personality.
I'm really boring.
You're really boring?
Yeah, like I'm a very boring person. That's fine.
Why did you say that you're boring?
I like simple things much more than people realize. I actually just like, I would rather take like a gig of bread and jam than steak. But I like both. But I'm like a simple guy. I just like simple things. Like, I think things that are too pretty after a while just make me sick. I feel like I want to vomit.
Really?
Yeah, just like simple things. Come on now, it's risen, Lagos, man.
So you're really boring.
I'm boring. I feel like it's fun. Is that fun? But I feel like I'm really excitingly boring. I'm like an exciting, boring person.
That doesn't make sense.
Like it's like, you know, there's boring people that are actually quite fun, but they're very boring.
Yeah.
Because you live your life on a very boring level. I feel like I'm one of those people. That my boring is actually quite exciting, but it's relatively boring for most people. Because I have a very cultivated pattern of living.
Oh my days.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, I feel like I'm talking to Rubik's Cube, you guys.
But do you know what I mean? The Rubik's Cube, the purpose of it, right? I think that's a good example, right? What you gotta do is make all the colours the same on one side. But how long will it take you to get it?
Time. It takes time.
Exactly. So that's the complexity.
So a lot of people, it takes
simplicity
time.
is complex.
Oh my days, simplicity is complex.
Yeah, it is.
That's the cool.
And I'm boring.
Simplicity is
I'm a very
complex.
simplistically complex person, and I'm a very complicated, simple person.
Wow. I don't think I ever heard anyone describe themselves like that. I'm just like, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. Like,
yeah. What do you think I am? Introvert, extrovert?
No, I don't know anymore. I know you're a Rubik's Cube, but I don't know anymore. I'm confused.
What would you call it? Rubik's Cube?
Okay.
I'm a
I'll say
introvert.
like you're an extrovert when you need to be.
Yeah. It's a social introvert.
Yeah, social introverts. That's how I'll say.
I recharge by myself.
So like I'm guessing like when you go out sometimes your social battery dies.
It doesn't die. It dies.
It dies.
I revive it. I know my tactics. Pineapple juice. If you take me to the club, give me pineapple juice and I'm lit for the whole night. That's it. Pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice. Okay. Buy Josiah pineapple juice, you guys.
If you see me, just buy me pineapple juice and you see me turn up.
Send pineapple juice to his house.
That's it. Literally,
Show up at the airport.
The best gift.
Pineapple juice.
Fresh pineapple juice. Oh my god, I would love you. But yeah, that's my first fun thing. I don't know. Second fun thing. I love music.
You love music. You just told me you don't listen to music. Like,
I do, but I love making music. I do like classical music when I was younger.
Classical music.
Yeah, I used to like compose music. I won an award for composing music. So I love classical music. If I was to listen to music a lot, sometimes I listen to like classical. Like I love classical music. I love seeing the world as a backdrop, cinematography. I love classical music. I love music. I love making it. I make a lot of music for myself. So I don't listen to a lot of people's music, but I'll listen to a lot of my music. I make music for myself in my room. That's that. And maybe like another interesting fact is it's not really that interesting, but I'm somebody that I will invest everything into any hobby. Any hobby.
So for instance, okay, what's your hobby right now?
So like for example, music is a hobby, but I will, rather than like just call it a hobby, I will like I'll buy all the equipment and make sure, and I'll have everything so that I always make sure that I can express myself to the fullest level I can. And I'm like a character that would invest heavily in any potential outlet. So for instance, if you randomly got like a hobby of like painting, you would like buy your things you need to. Yeah, I would probably even rent a studio. That's how I am. Like I started badminton, for example. In like 2 days or so, I bought the trainers, I bought the badminton racket, I've got everything professional because I want to give myself. The way I think through life is I don't actually want to ever work for anybody like fully for the rest of my life. I want to. The goal is to make everything I do for fun, my earning, my life, right? So I give everything an opportunity to thrive as best as possible to see what it can become. So I'll put myself in front of a coach in as much as I may be doing it leisurely, so I can have the opportunity to learn it the best, so that I can give myself an opportunity to do that full time if I want to. Because I want to do all the things I love and love all the things I do. You know what I'm saying? So that's my three things.
That's cool. I think the last one is my favorite one, actually.
I'm just throwing quotes at you.
Yeah. Like the last, your last, a fun fact is like a really cool one too. Because ideally, sometimes I think hobbies are like always short term, right? So I don't like to really fully dedicate everything I have to, because I'm like, okay, I might not be interested in this in the next month.
It's true.
So when I see people that are willing to dedicate everything, like time, effort, finances into something, I think that's really cool, because you see it long term.
For sure. I mean, that's I think even if it's short term, right? Like, it'll come back. Life is cycles.
Yeah.
Or you can now be a person that can help somebody else with their desires.
Yeah, that's true.
You're fully equipped to just help someone. I think that's it.
Something that I guess I like that you said a few years ago, I think it was 2018 or 2019, thereabouts, was that you said if you're like scared about like your views or something on YouTube or like Instagram or whatever, and like, oh, just 100 views or something, you should imagine 100 people in the room are willing to listen to you. I don't know if you remember saying that, right? But you said that, and that like stuck with me at the time, and it helped me a lot actually, because I started telling other people about it. I'm like, oh, like if someone comes to me like, oh, only like some people actually interested in my content, or I just like what I like, just want to listen to what I have to say, just 50 people. I'm like, imagine 50 people in your room listening to you, that's a lot of people, right? So that helped me a lot, even with like, I guess, my faith and everything too. It helped me because I'm like, okay, God has a reason why this is happening now. God has a reason why these amounts of people are willing to listen to me tell the story, right? So to anyone, I guess, watching this right now, what would you have to say to, I guess, two categories of people? The people that are like content creators, or trying to really find their niche in like the content creating world, and now that everything's changing, what would you say to them trying to really navigate that? That's like the first part of the question. Second part of the question is, what would you say to people that are just figuring out their faith and trying to they don't have to even be perfect or anything, but just trying to pick up their faith with God in little ways, but they're struggling because of our generation?
Sure. Okay.
It's two parts. So
the first part is creatives trying to find their niche. I think people call it kind of like finding a niche, but like you just have to sometimes create one, because some don't exist yet. Yeah. And that's what a niche really is, right? Just finding a loophole. I just think be unapologetic. I love something that Jackie Hill Perry said, and this is kind of ties into a faith question, but it's actually a principle I use for the rest of my life, for every area of my life. Is like, if to die is really gain, and you really believe that, then what's the worst that somebody could ever do to you? Kill you. And to kind of like break that down is, many of us hold ourselves back based on the opinions of people, because we feel like, oh my God, like, oh, nobody's gonna like it. My mom's not gonna like it if I change my career. But it's like, what's the worst your mom's gonna do? Kill you? So if you truly believe that to die is gain, then the worst that anybody can ever do to you is take you closer to where you say is gain. So if you lived like that, imagine how bold you'd actually be. So I think to kind of like also kind of spill into the second question, both of them is, the first question is like, why are you holding yourself back on what you're creating? Because you don't even I don't know why you're doing it. Don't worry about what people say. People will follow eventually. Like, I am a testament to that. And people always ask me, how did you do it? Well, I just did it. That's what I did, right? I stopped asking or stopped anticipating what people would say, because they're going to talk anyways. So I do what I need to do, they talk, right? And I take the feedback and I improve on what I'm giving. But ultimately, if I have a message to say in the world, it doesn't matter if it's going well or not. It's an important message to share. Yeah. It's something that's going to change the world. If I truly believe that the world needs to hear something I have to say, then it doesn't matter if it's going well or not. It doesn't matter if I'm being liked, because it's important that I'm saying what I need to say. I think, like,
you know the value of what you're trying to offer.
Yeah, like, you know the value, right? And if you know that there is something that in your words that the world requires, in fact, that world doesn't exist, and you're speaking because you're creating that world, it doesn't matter if people believe the world is happening. That's still going to be happening. The truth is the truth. even if you don't believe it. And a lie is the lie, even if you believe it, right? So the reality is you have to believe in what you bring and be honest and truthful to that and pull that into the world and worry less about what people think. Because actually, what's crazy as we get older, you're probably realizing this more and more, people actually don't care.
Yeah, people don't.
Right? They act like they do, but they don't actually care. Like, it's like how many, like, when we were younger, we cared a lot about the shoes you wore, but really, if people don't actually care about the shoes you wear, nobody looks down at man's shoes and really, oh my god, that's the shoe you wear.
So people still care though, but those people are like.
But that shows you where they're at.
Exactly.
But if you're not there, then it's not even a part of your world. You know, there's certain questions in my life, there's certain things I never deal with. You know, when girls ask me, oh my god, so like, if you were gonna die, what sweater would you wear? Like, these are like things I never, do you know what I mean? These are things I would never think about until you ask me. It's even some of these questions, like, unfortunately, I've never thought about them.
Because I'm asking.
Yeah, some of the questions you're like, because I don't think about it, I just live my life.
Yeah.
And in all that is to succinctly say, the first question, is like, what people have to say really doesn't matter. Like, they will exist only for about 2-3 years in your life.
Yeah.
But if your dream and all these things, you really care about them, they will stay with you your whole life. Imagine this girlfriend that you love, right? If you say you love somebody, right, you have to believe that they're a constant, which means you define that your friends might change, your family might hate you, whatever, but this person that you love, that you're gonna one day go wife or whatever, they're gonna be with you through every other loss. So that's your message, right? If your message is like this bride, then you worry about your marriage. You worry less about what people have to say about it. Worry about being married. Worry about making the marriage a happy marriage. And you take that message and you hold on to it and you keep giving it, Because ultimately, everything else in the world will change, but your message, if you know it's valuable, won't change. And guess what's important? That the more you bring that message will change the world, right? And I think
it's more about like, the more you build value on something, the more people begin to appreciate and even understand the value you're providing.
Literally, like, right? Like, value is value. Everything's valuable to somebody, but what becomes valuable to the masses is what somebody tells you, convinces you is valuable to you.
Yeah.
Right? So Apple came out with an invention a few years ago called the iPod Nano. Now it's changed the whole world, right? But all they said was, you can download up to 1,000 songs.
Yeah.
And it blew people's minds. Because before you couldn't download, you could only listen to one song at a time. You could only download, you couldn't even download a song. Now you can download 1,000.
That's crazy.
It blew people's minds, right?
It's actually like, even like me, like my first phone, I had like 2 songs. Like,
exactly.
And that was enough for you, and Justin Bieber, that's all.
Exactly. And that's the thing about these things, is that you're probably like the first person opening someone's eyes. Mm-hmm. You have to worry about trying to open 100 people's eyes. Worry about opening one person's eye. One person's eye opens, they see the world totally different. It goes back to that whole 50 people in the room. You see, if you could touch 50 people's lives, oh my goodness.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Like,
that's enough.
Literally, like, it's hard to change your life. Like, talk about, it's even hard to change your diet. But to change somebody's life through a sentence is a big deal. So focus on the one person rather than 10,000. Because guess what? One will come and one will come. And if you keep focusing on one, you'll keep focusing on one. And before you're focusing on 10,000, which are still 1 times 10,000.
Yeah. It's all about the one.
Yeah, it's all about the one. Like, it's really it. Find something in your life, or like, find a view, find a message, and stand by it. And the second question.
People that are just trying to like develop their faith and just like, you know, trying hard to be better, but not necessarily perfect.
Yeah, I mean, great. So one thing I've learned is like, that God isn't trying to crucify me, he's already crucified Jesus. So he doesn't actually want to kill me. And sometimes with a passion to love God, you feel like you have to kill yourself. And God is really clear on the fact that he doesn't kill yourself. He doesn't want you to kill yourself. He's already sacrificed his only begotten son, right? Which means that it's already been done. So how it looks like when I sacrifice myself isn't limited to just literally murdering myself. No, to die to self isn't me literally saying, I will cut everything off. Bible gives you that choice. And the beautiful thing is you have the rest of your life to learn about Jesus. Yeah. And I think people don't actually believe that because they don't really believe in eternity. They don't really get the idea. So you try to rush your change, try to rush your faith, try to rush reading the whole Bible because it's more impressive to people to show them how far you've gone in Jesus rather than how impressive it is that you are so committed to learning about Jesus that even if you've only learned 1% in 10 years, that you're committed to staying there for the next 20, 30, 40. Yeah. I think worry less about how your faith looks to people, worry more about your relationship with Jesus. Now what that looks like is actually we all fumble in different places, we all sin different, we all look different. But actually ultimately, if in your heart you are living a Christ-like, living in a Christ-like way, i.e. like if in theory you are challenging yourself to let go of your own ideals, questioning your traditions, the ones that be fed to you, and doing that, and actually actively trying to learn about Jesus for yourself, then that is enough. Something that really changed my life was somebody said, take time and just read one verse in the Bible, because you've got the rest of eternity to learn about God.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like,
take time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, the moment you rush, it's to impress someone. That's your ego. That's not godly.
Yeah.
Right? I think we should choose continually to resist the temptation to live an average life in Christ when we can live a spectacular life. Because the story that God is writing is ever so beautiful. It's the most magnificent story ever told, and it's still being told. And to have such an average role in such a beautiful story where you are promised something amazing, I think it would be so sad. There are people who are going to live life experiencing God but not accepting it because they have an instinct. They feel love, they love their neighbor, they're really good neighbors, they're really good. I think there is a beauty in that curiosity of Christ, that desperate pursuit of Christ. I think we should resist, and my advice to people is to resist that temptation to take your problems and allow them to defeat you based on what actually, if you go through those problems, who you can become. And I think that's how we get our fruit of the Spirit. There are people who are absolutely blissful when you look at them, that they're just so smart, so wise, so calm, they just have this air over them. It's like, how do they have that? Well, it's by a life laid down, like completely.
Like
that's really hard to do. But I think that's a beautiful life, like to be so simple.
That's the life
it's the life I aim to have, right? I have anger issues now, I still struggle with them better than 3 years ago, right? But I want that to die. Right, so that's one of my aims. Yeah, it does. It gets better, but actually, like, I walk back into it all the time because it's a proclivity, it's a default that I have. Now I'm trying to instill this Christ-like default so that when I get angry, I don't shout at people. I don't do that. Like, that's what I'm working towards, right? Because I'm not there yet. Like, it kind of frustrates me. That's the anger in itself. So, I want my fruit to have seeds that germinate more trees. Yeah. Right. So I think that's the aim. But to kind of succinctly answer the question again, we kind of went off. I would say to give yourself an opportunity to be loved by God, right? Give yourself the opportunity, which means stop acting like God in your life, which means stop cutting yourself down for things. The Bible says that when you're saved, it's the sin in you. So it's no longer you're sinful, it's that the sin in you. There is something inside you. Just the same way a pig has a nature of loving mud, and when he's transformed, it's not that he now becomes a cow. He's still a pig, but now when he runs to the mud, it feels a little bit more dirty. And there will be a time that the pig will not be satisfied, even in that pen, that it will jump out. And I think we have to live our lives. Yes, we're a little bit muddy, but continue to love God, because there'll be a day that the mud will just feel disgusting. In fact, so disgusting. Exactly. I think give yourself an opportunity to be loved by God. That's my answer.
Yeah. Guys, by the way, Mr200m has plenty sense, like he has a lot of sense, That's why he's giving us like all this, wisdom. When your sense is plenty, like it's a law. You have to, things you can just live by, put on your fridge. Live by it, simplicity, complexity, all that stuff. Bunch of words, Word. But yeah, this is really great. Do you have anything else to say, like any last minute, like whatever, or you just wanted people to like?
Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate bold people. I think the world needs more bold people. I think it's incredible how close you are to everything you need, and I think more people need to trust that. And I appreciate when people reach out to me over what seems to be small. I love it. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm nervous, guys.
Subscribe to the channel.
But yeah, thank you so much, Josiah. I really appreciate this. Thank you for coming on here. You guys probably already know him, but if you don't, go to his TikTok and you find his true personality there.
That one's so new to me. That one is very new to me. That's so.
But yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, have a great day.
Thank you. And yourself.
Bye.